Let's work through a couple more examples of surface area and volume calculations, and then go on to talk about scale factors for areas and volumes. Let's look at this example at the top. So here I've got another right prism, but my base is a trapezoid, where the two parallel sides, one is 12 centimeters, and then one is 6 centimeters. Okay, and then these sides here are not parallel. If I was to extend the back of that trapezoid out this way and out this way, if I was to extend 3 centimeters both sides, then that from here now out to here, that would be 12 centimeters, just like the front. And then if I was to join that corner there, here, I would have a right triangle where this corner, this is the right angle. And then this side length from here to here is 3 centimeters. This side length from here to here is 4 centimeters. It's this distance given up here. And so this hypotenuse, which I'm calling x, that's the square of that plus 4 squared plus 3 squared. Okay, the square of the hypotenuse, so x squared is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared. So x is equal to the square root of 4 squared plus 3 squared, which is square root of 25 or 5. Okay, so that's what x is. It can be a little hard to look at this diagram because there's some perspective going on. So it doesn't look as if this distance here is the same as this one. But that's just the way the picture is drawn. It is supposed to be the same distance. So 5 centimeters from here to here, 5 centimeters from here to here. So then the surface area, well, it's going to be this rectangle at the front, plus the rectangle at the back, plus this rectangle on the side, and then this one that's hidden over here on this side, and they're going to be the same. Okay, they're 5 times 7. Okay, 5 times 7. And then what else? Oh, the top trapezoid and the bottom trapezoid. Those are both the same. The areas of those, well, the area of a trapezoid is half of 12 plus 6 times the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides, which is 4 centimeters. Okay, so let's put all that together. So the surface area, there's the rectangle at the front. There's the rectangle at the back. These are the two side rectangles. Remember, we figured out that x was equal to 5. That's where the 5 is coming from. And then the two trapezoids on the top and the bottom. Area of each trapezoid is a half times 12 plus 6 times the perpendicular distance between the two parallel sides, which is 4. Whew. Add all those pieces together and we get 268 square centimeters. So there's quite a lot going on there. So make sure you understand where all the different pieces are coming from and relate them to the diagram over here. By contrast, the volume is much easier. The volume, because we have a right prism, it's going to be the area of the base, which is this, half times 12 plus 6 times 4, it's the trapezoid formula, times the height, which is 7. A little bit easier to calculate. Comes to 252 cubic centimeters. Okay, let's talk about scale factors for length, area, and volume. So let's think about this square over here. Okay, I don't know what the length is of the sides, but I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is what happens to the area of the square if I double the side lengths. Okay, the area does not double. Okay, you can kind of see that it doesn't double because here's the area of the square if I double the length of each side. The area, well, it's 4 times. Okay, so anytime we're looking at a square and we double the side lengths, the area is going to go up by 2 times 2 or 4 times. Okay, so this is a very common mistake that that elementary students can make. Okay, and you can see the intuition behind what's going on. I double the side lengths of the square, I'm going to get a square that's 4 times as big in terms of area. What about a cube? Okay, I've colored one side of the cube yellow again, just to prevent any optical illusions from occurring. Because if I double the side lengths of the cube, how much does the volume go up? Well, I've put what the cube would look like over here, and this yellow side should help you see what's going on, so that this isn't just a jumble of lines, but it's a 3-dimensional object. And how many cubes have I got in there? Well, if you count them, there's like 2 layers. There's the top layer with 4 cubes and the bottom layer with 4 cubes. There's 8 cubes in total. So that looks like the volume goes up by 8 times. Where does that come from? Well, it comes from 2 times 2 times 2. So again, a very common source of confusion for elementary students, this. But if you think about these pictures, you should be able to get intuition behind why doubling the side lengths of a square increases the area by 2 times 2 or 4 times. Doubling the side lengths of a cube, the volume will increase by 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 cubed, or 8 times. Okay, let's see how that can help us solve problems like this one, which actually looks like an impossible question to solve. I've got 7 blue circles over here, arranged so that they're enclosed by a bigger red circle. What fraction of the area of the large red circle is taken up by the total area of the small blue circles? Well, that looks impossible to answer. I haven't even told you what the diameters or the radius of any of those circles is. So how could I possibly figure this out? Well, we can solve this problem by thinking about the scale factor for area. Okay, well, if we think about the diameter of each blue circle, okay, I've put 3 of them next to each other, and that is the same as the diameter of the red circle. So if I think about scale factors for diameter, the diameter scale factor is 3. Okay, because the red circle diameter is 3 times as big as the blue circle diameter. I didn't mean to color that red, I meant to color it black. There we go. Okay, remember that area scale factors are related to length scale factors if we square the factor. So if I square 3, I will get the area scale factor. So that will be 9 in this case. Okay, so the area scale factor for the red circle compared to the blue circle, any one of the blue circles, is 9 times. but I've got 7 blue circles. So therefore, the area taken up by the 7 blue circles must be 7/9 of the large red circle. And that's the answer to our question. Kind of cool, huh? Okay, let's give you a couple of slightly easier questions to work with. First question, let's think about this pyramid over here. Okay, it's got a base. It's not a square base, it's a rectangular base. One side is 20 meters, the other side is 15 meters. The height of the pyramid, okay, from directly below the apex up here is 10 meters. Okay, so from ground level straight up to the apex is 10 meters. Okay, so I could figure out the volume of that pyramid if I wanted to, using the formula 1/3 times area of the base times the height. Okay, that's not what the question is. It's part of answering the question. But the question is, suppose I was to fill this pyramid halfway with water. Okay, so what I mean is, rather than filling it all the way up to the top, I'm only going to fill it up to 5 meters, and then I'll stop. Okay, so the bottom part of the pyramid is going to be filled with water, and the top part will be empty. The question is, what is the volume of the water? Okay, so all the water that fills up the bottom part of the pyramid, what is the volume of the water? Okay, so hopefully you can see how to calculate this. You can calculate the volume of the whole pyramid. You could also calculate the volume of just the little pyramid at the top that's not filled. Okay, you're going to have to kind of use a little bit of mathematical reasoning to think about what that volume would be, and then just subtract that volume for the little pyramid at the top from the big pyramid, and that will tell you how much is filled with water. Okay, second question. Let's suppose the volume of a cylinder is 1 liter. Okay, and I've drawn a picture of it over here. Here's my 1 liter cylinder. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the height or the radius of that cylinder. I'm just going to tell you that its volume is 1 liter. We've also got a tall, skinny cylinder, and it has half the radius. Okay, so the radius of this tall, skinny cylinder is half of the radius of the original 1 liter cylinder. But the height, it's twice as high as the original cylinder. Okay, it turns out that we can calculate the volume of this tall, skinny cylinder. Okay, even though I haven't told you what the radius and the height is. How do we do that, you might say? Okay, this is how. Okay, here's the formula for the volume of the original cylinder. It's pi times r squared times h. Okay, I'm not telling you what r and h are, so we're just going to have to use variables because we don't know what the values are. So pi times r squared times h, pi times r times h. I can't draw a square symbol using this software, so that's why I've written r times r instead of r squared. Same thing. What about the tall, skinny cylinder? What's its volume? Well, it's going to be pi times r squared. What is r for the tall, skinny cylinder? Well, we were told that the radius of the tall, skinny cylinder was half the radius of the original cylinder. So it's r over 2 squared. So r over 2 times r over 2. What is the height of the tall, skinny cylinder? Well, we were told the height is twice the height of the original cylinder, so 2h. Okay, so that's the formula for the volume of the tall, skinny cylinder. But I can simplify this. Okay, if I write this as as this. Okay, where did that come from, you might say? Okay, well, let's think about this. I had r over 2 times r over 2 times 2h. So I just think about the numbers. Half times a half times 2. A half times 2 is the same as a half times 1. It's the same as a half. So if I pull the numbers out, I'm going to have a half. And then I'm going to have left pi times r times r times h. But I know what pi times r times h is. It's the original volume. And I know the original volume, it was 1 liter. So the tall skinny volume is a half times 1 liter. In other words, the tall skinny volume is half a liter. Okay, finally going to get to the question. The question is, what if I have a short fat cylinder? Okay, the short fat cylinder has twice the radius of the original cylinder and half the height of the original cylinder. What is the volume of the short fat cylinder? Okay, you can calculate it using the same idea that we did right here.